This is part 2 beta of the racist incident in Instagram. Alright, so again, I showed you guys the video. The guy came at me. We had a little technical difficulties. I had to change my nephew, and I wasn't going to do that on camera. Anyway, I think he has like major ass busting diarrhea or something. Anyway, as I said, if I would have known what race was back then, it would have been easier to explain to me that my grandmother was the daughter of a Cherokee woman and that she was not like us. Alright? And let me straighten this up before I go any further. When I say us, alright, so both my sides have Cherokee black in them, and one side has white in them. But we were raised black. We were like denied any Native American heritage. Half the family doesn't even know that they're Native American, and they don't even look into researching now. That works on both sides of my family. Whether they accept it or not, I don't know what the deal is, but a lot of them don't even fucking acknowledge that we are part Cherokee. I acknowledge it. One of my cousins on my mother's side acknowledges it, and he's a really young man, so he's going at it, and good luck to you on that, little cuz. But everybody else, we know that we have it, but they just want to be black. They don't embrace our heritage, and that's fine. I don't have a problem with that, but I am embracing our heritage. And on my dad's side, it's no different. They only want to be black. They don't embrace the Native American heritage of ours. They don't really give a flying fuck their Grandma Bay and her mother before her were Cherokee. They don't even acknowledge that. Now, as I was saying before my nephew interrupted me with a shitty diaper, I hate corn. I love rice, but I hate corn. I fucking hate the shit out of corn. Now, my great-grandmother and my grandmother, they like corn. I don't know why they like corn, but they like corn. And my grandma Bay made pancakes with corn in it one time, and I was done from there. I do not like corn. I can't stand corn. I hate corn. And I was forced to eat corn by my grandma Bay inside of pancakes. And you know me, I'm going to pick the corns out. Nope, you got to eat that corn. It's like, I don't like corn. Eat the goddamn corn. So, yeah, I don't like corn. Score 1 to Grandma Bay. Okay, so now, that being said and out of the way, when I said Asian, let me knock this out first before I go any further into this video. So, scientific name for human beings, Caucasoid or Caucaloid, I'm not sure how you say it, means white people. That means Caucasian. All right. Negroloid means Negro people, which means black people. All right. And then there's Mongoloid, which means Asian people. This is scientifically said, so don't come at me for that shit. But scientifically, that's what we are. There is no term for people like me who are a mixture of the three. I like to say that I'm hybridloid, or as Magneto would say it, Homo superior. Anyway, that being said, because technically if you put all that stuff together, I would be the mutant genetic equivalent of that. Anyway, so Native Americans are biologically Asian. Land bridge, etc., etc. Something that I had to be taught over again by my Korean friend. So, as far as Asians, which are Asian from China to fucking Vietnam, Laos, Hawaii, Polynesian, Micronesian, Samoans, those are Asians, alright? Where Native Americans are biologically Asian, they are not counted as Asians on the job chart, because you have Alaskan Native and Native American when you go to apply for a job, and then you have Asian, Pacific Islander, and then you have other. And then at the top you have Caucasian and Negro, alright? So if you ever apply for a job in the old days, that's what the application looked like. It literally, in that order, it literally says Caucasian, Negro, Native or Alaskan Native, Pacific Islander, other. Now, I might have left off one or two, but it does have other. So you can do that. So Native Americans were robbed of their cultural identity, and the closest Asian culture to Native American culture is Inter and Outer Mongolia. So technically Native Americans spawned from Mongolia. Okay, you guys can go fact check that all you want. Anyway, I'm not going to argue about Native American history, especially since it's covered in mysteries just like every other bit of history, and it's also been whitewashed and some other things. Now, in the video I showed you, this woman was talking to a child. So in my Instagram, I had wrote that this woman should be arrested or something. Let me go find the damn comment. So let me go back. Let's see what was my comment. I said unacceptable for calling a child that pressed charges on her for the full measure of the law. All right. So being from Virginia and learning this back in middle school, that your rights end where my face begins. Thank you, Miss Formalot. There are laws against starting fights. It's one of the loony laws, and there are laws that they don't enforce, and there are laws that they can enforce. But because the world is hypersensitive about racism, if you call a man of color or a woman of color or anybody of color the negative of that, and they punch you in the face, 9 times out of 10, you being the cause of the fight, you're probably going to get arrested for it. So if I was to walk up to a person who was of Asian descent and said, F you, J word, C word, K word, G word, or W word, I get punched in the face, and when the cops arrive, because I became a little bitch and decided I'm going to call the cops because I called this person that word and they decided to commence to beat my ass, which I would have earned that ass whooping for being racist, then, you know, they would arrest me. And in the end of this clip of this video, if you haven't watched my first 2 videos, go back and watch them. But if you have watched it, or if you have at the end of this video, that I'm going to show again in a minute, they do arrest this lady. But she does call a child the N-word. I'm going to let it play. I'm going to just give you a little downtown about when you are mixed. We don't have a support group. We don't have a gathering of mixed kids of all mixedness and sit in a room and talk about our issues, because we have issues more than you think, and we do not have a support group no matter what everyone says. Oh, well, is this and this. No, see, okay, here's how this works when you're mixed. Alright? You women, you're blessed. Because when it comes to mixed women, everybody's curious. Everybody's curious. They're all curious about your nether regions. They're curious about what you do when you go home. They're even curious about your toilet paper. When you're a mixed man, this is what you get. Oh, you're a mixed guy. Here you go. Sit on this, buddy. And honestly, you know, very few mixed guys get treated very well. I ought to know. I have not been treated very well if you've been paying attention. But when you're a mixed girl, girls tend to be a little bit more received. Alright, because it's all about the woman. Trust me, it's all about the woman. If you are a mixed girl, people are hyperly fascinated with you while you are a mixed chick. Fact check me on that. Any mixed women watching this, you can fact check me and you can back me up. They are hyperly fascinated about you because you are female and you are mixed. And a lot of them want to know what's going on down here. Does it look the same? And that's probably from the female perspective. But if you're a mixed dude, you've seen one dick, you've seen them all. Yeah, a dick is a dick. But when it comes down to mixed women and their nether regions and boob size and all this other stuff, they're totally into that shit, and they're totally going to question the fuck out of females about that shit. Alright? Do you shave? Do you do this? Trust me, this is going way beyond what it needs to go. But when you're a mixed dude, no one cares. You're a dude. No one cares. Now, some of the women might care. They're like, oh, yeah, you're a handsome mixed dude. You know, what do you mix with? And that's fine. But 9 times out of 10, when you're a mixed girl, you are a lot better received than when you are a mixed guy. Unless you happen to encounter someone who's just a racist or an asshole. Alright? Simple as that. So being mixed is also another reason why I haven't really been able to get acting work. Because they don't know what the fuck I am. Like, I will play whatever you want me to play. Just give me the damn job. Now, back to the subject at hand. Now, as a victim of racism, I've had more racism from black people than white people than Asian people. As I was going into that before I gave you your little history lesson. So, the only race issue besides Zhang was with Native Americans. Those are the only Asian racist things I've had. As far as blacks, I've had more black racism towards me than white racism. And so, it's a lot higher on the black side than the white side. Because of the colorism, because of the brown bag test, and all this other shit. And this is the shit, this is why mixed people feel this shit more than non-mixed people. And let me clarify that. When I'm talking mixed people, dead skin. If you were two different whites, it's not going to be that bad for you, because no matter how you slice it, you're still going to be white. If you were two different Asians, it's not going to be that bad for you because you're still Asian. Like if you're Chinese and Korean, you know, you may get some, you know, you're going to get a lot of half-breed jokes, I can guarantee you that. But when it comes down to the ball number, you are still Asian. Now, when you get to motherfuckers like me, who are part Cherokee, part black, and part white, I've had it on all spectrums. Alright? All spectrums. Now, like I said, besides the Zhang, I've never had a problem with anybody Chinese, Japanese, Korean, Filipino, Samoan, Indonesian, Hawaiian, which is Polynesian, Micronesian, Fujian, any of those other low-level Asian countries or high-level Asian countries or whatever, Indonesia, Malaysia, none of those people have ever given me any problem whatsoever. Again, with the exception of Zhang, and that's when we were kids, and I wasn't exactly a saint then either. Now, Native Americans, I had 2 incidences in the same day with the 2 dudes from the same fucking tribe who told me I wasn't pure blood and I could not date the chieftain's daughter. Alright, now I don't know what the chieftain's daughter means, but that's what they called her, which means I guess she had a little bit more royal blood. And they were on wheelchair basketball teams. Alright? That was it. Now, when it came to white people, I had maybe 5 incidences. Especially the one guy for 3 years who would not fucking stop calling me chief. Which pissed me off. Every goddamn Friday, Saturday, and Sunday for 3 fucking years. 3.5 technically, because I was 15 turning 16, 17, 18, 19. So yeah, about 3.5 years, this man called me chief. Every weekend of my life, I was chief. I have no royal blood to my knowledge, but I was chief, and that shit pissed me off. And then when it was black people, you're never going to be one of us. You're not one of us. You're never one of us. And then, as far as Africans go, it's the same shit. I've met maybe 3 Africans that like me. 4 now, because of the one from college. But I've met at least 4 or 5 Africans that said that I would die if I stepped foot in African soil. Good news for me. I'm never going to Africa. I'm sorry, Africa. If I have any fans from Africa, I'm sorry. I'm never coming to your country. Because my life is a little bit more important to me than fame and fortune. You know, I would like to actually be able to enjoy the fame and fortune if I ever get there. Excuse me, when I get there. But I'm not coming to Africa. Sorry, it's just not going to happen. You know. Now, that being said, the reason why I'm making this video is because of the fella on Instagram who came at me over this shit, because he clearly didn't understand the ramifications of calling somebody's child the N-word. Now, if you're watching this video and you're coming to me now, this video is already up because I'm going live before I go to work on my YouTube channel. But so that I can finish this off, I will probably make a 3rd video of this when I get home from work. But you have to understand that there are things that you, as a person who is not mixed, need to know. And you, who a person is mixed, need to know. Alright? Like I said 2 minutes ago, if you're mixed with 2 different Asians, you're still going to be Asian. You're only going to have problems when other people find out. You know, and they're like, alright, well, you're part Chinese and part Japanese. That's a fucked up ass combo. So let's start roaming and start using your culture against you. Same thing with any other Asian race mixed with another Asian race. But in America, no one's going to fucking know. And to them, you're just going to be Asian. And it's the same thing with white people. If you're white, unless you have one blue eye and one brown eye, and different hair that's naturally yours, like if you have red hair or whatever, somebody's probably going to say something then. They're like, oh yeah, you got red hair, so you're either Irish or Scottish, and we're just going to keep throwing that ginger shit in your face. But if you're mixed, they're like, okay. So, but if you're mixed with 2 different whites, you're still going to be white. I'm sorry if that sounds racist, but it's the truth. You're still going to be white. Now, when you're mixed with like black or native, that's when shit starts to, or other Asian ethnicities in general, mixed with white or black, that's when shit starts to get complicated. That's when motherfuckers start throwing the black side of you as a negative and the Asian side of you as a positive. And then sometimes it's reversed. If it's like from black people, they throw the Asian side of you as a negative, and the black side of you is a positive. And in my case, it was never that way. No matter what side they threw at me, all of it was negative. And it was always, well, you're half white or you're half native, so we can't really trust you because you're not really one of us. You're one of them. Newsflash for all you black motherfuckers born in America to ancestors of slaves. You're probably mixed too. I'm just more genetically out there in the face. Which means you probably have a Native American grandmother. You probably have a white grandmother. You could have a Chinese grandmother. And you may just not know it because, like me as a child, you didn't see them that way. You just saw them as your grandmother. And someone had to point that shit out to you. Because I didn't really know I was mixed until I got into school. No. We didn't do racial shit. We didn't do cultural shocks and shit like that until I got to school. I didn't know what the fuck racism was until I got to school. And then I learned the hard way. And again, being multicultural, we don't have a fucking mixed kid support group. There was no mixed kids in school that got together after school and talked about this shit because we were a commodity. You know, if you were mixed and you knew it, good for you. And believe me, if you were mixed, you knew it because other kids would fucking let you know. Hey, half-breed. What's up, half-breed? How you doing, half-breed? And it only got worse from you from there. So before I end this video, I'm going to play this video. And then I'm going to go to post these on YouTube as I play a YouTube video of the same video as I go live on Instagram to direct everyone to this video. So thanks for watching. It's Kung Fu Happy number 2. Be seeing you.